Here goes another one then. Right, let's pretend I'm drinking tea. Good day everyone, fresh cup of tea, and it's a fresh episode of the Hayabusa build series. Yay! Hi guys, I've had a few days off. I've been exhausted basically. I promise you I've not just kind of completely cleaned off this bottle of vodka, and I've got another fresh one in the cupboard waiting. Yeah, so what's happened since the last one? Since the last time I seen you, I had rubbed down the wheels ready for painting. The weather went a bit meh, and then it warmed up again, so I got them out into the garden, got them painted, really happy with the finish on that. Now, all part and parcel of this build at the moment, considering we're on lockdown, both myself and Taffy are on reduced wages, so there isn't a lot of money flying around, and we're also trying not to go out too much. I'm also trying hard not to order too much stuff online because I don't want to make kind of, you know, more activity and kind of increase this spread of this virus. That is enough about talking about viruses, but just to explain to you basically why I'm using some of the products that I'm using, and yeah, that is why basically. So what did I use on the wheels? I used a filler primer. Had this here for flipping ages. It did a really good job of just kind of filling up any slight kind of nicks and bits and pieces that maybe Taffy and I didn't take care of on the sanding. Really hard. When you get a nick in the wheel, you've got to really sand it really hard. We sanded it down to the point there was no corrosion showing, but there was a few kind of fine scratches and this, that and the other. This took care of it. Really good stuff. Happy with that. This is not proper, I don't know, filler primer for wheels. Is that a right thing, a real thing? Is it a thing? I don't know. But that's what I used. And I also used, because I've got masses of this for a project that I didn't do previously. Can't even remember what it was. It's just satin black paint. This I get from work at trade cost. So it was originally super cheap for me to have. I got like 10 cans of the stuff, and a couple of the primer. And I'm really happy with the wheels. It may not be the most durable and hard wearing finish, but I will show you the end result of those shortly. I've also got a video that I said I wasn't going to do, but I ended up filming myself spraying them. I'll show that video to you in a bit. Right, what else is going to happen next? What's got to happen next? Well, there's a lot of work to be done on the bike next, but I'm still waiting on the castle nut to arrive for me to remove the swing arm spindle. It's got like a special nut I need to put on that to release that. So I'm waiting for that. But I'm also thinking to the point that I need to get there so I can strip the back end down. So in order to do that, I need to get the front end made back up again, because at the moment I've got the back of the bike on a paddock stand, and the front of the bike on 2 axle stands. It's super sturdy, not going anywhere. So I'm happy with that, but I need to rebuild the front. So I need to put the exhaust on, the downpipes at a minimum. I need to get the radiator back on. I need to get the front forks back on. I need to get the front wheel back on, and basically the front end kind of put back together in effect, so then I can put more of the weight on the front of the bike and then use the prop stands on the back end of the engine so I can support the back half of the bike up, which will enable me to remove the swing arm. So the swing arm has to come off. It needs rubbing down, sanding down, repainting. I don't know what the state of the bearings are going to be like in the swing arm, so that's going to be interesting to see, because the whole back end is very corroded, as you've already seen on the previous videos. A few things has happened. I've also taken delivery of my replacement swing arm. No, not swing arm. It's too much vodka. The replacement rear shock, I'll show you that in a sec. We'll have a look at that. I've got some new bearings. So today I'll show you me painting the wheels, and we'll have a closer look at the wheels and see the end finish of that, and cleaning up the exhaust, and hopefully we can then start moving on and getting the bike together again a bit more and move on to some other jobs. All right, that is enough talking. Let me show you what we did out in the garden with some spray cans and a gas mask. Right, the wheels are masked up, and I'm going to put my mask on and do some painting. Right, so that is the wheels done. Done. Bloody done. They're done. We'll have a look at those in a minute. Let's have a look at all this stuff down here. So here it is. Here's the exhaust. I need to clean the exhaust up. It's pretty clean, to be honest. Grizz is just, it looks even cleaner on this camera than it is in person, but you can probably see here and there is nothing much. But I want to give it a bit of a clean up. It looks quite good on the camera, but it's kind of just needs a bit of a clean. I tried putting some metal polish on it, didn't really like it, so I'm just going to put some real fine wet and dry on these downpipes. Just take off any slight surface corrosion that might be there, give them a clean up, give them a good head start before I start getting them dirty when I get back out on the bike. The end can, it needs some work, doesn't it? Yeah, we'll look at that probably on another one, fix that one up a bit. Wheel bearings are here. There's a sprocket bearing. They are an absolute nightmare to change. I've done them before, a real pig, but they possibly need to be done. Definitely need the two wheel bearings doing. I need to have a closer look at that sprocket bearing and decide. And a couple of dust covers for the bearings. And here is the replacement shock. What a shocker. Now I think this is pretty good. What was it, £70 including postage, and look at it, it's clean, all the adjusters work, there's no corrosion. It's going to be interesting to compare it with the one that I'm taking off, but yeah, the other one is super corroded, so I'm really happy with this. It was a good buy at £70. I could really do without spending the money, to be honest, but needs must. I want this bike up together and being nice and safe and good and ready for use. Right, let me show you the wheels. Let's have a look at the wheels now. Right, so here you are. Here they are. Here's the finished product. Still got all the tape on and the paper on. Can you also notice I've had a bit of an OCD cleanup in the garage here. Put all my bits and pieces in order. It's still not A1 in here, but it's in better order than it was. So, back to the wheels. I'm quite happy with the finish. It's not amazing. The camera makes it look amazing, but it's not bad. It's really hard when you're painting outdoors not to end up with a fly or two getting stuck in your paint. And you may not get the most kind of even job done, but for what it is, it's pretty good. There's a few bits of dust stuck in the paint here and there, but it's not bad. The only thing I will say is that when you're painting, you need to have a nice dry, warm day to stop the paint from going misty, cloudy, because there's too much moisture in the air. And I left them in the garage here. It was really warm, actually. and they probably have been going off now, kind of hardening. The paint has been hardening for a couple of days. So as you saw in the video, all I've done really is just put the tape here around the outside rim, a nice rim job, and all you're trying to do is push that tape as far as you can in between the tyre and the rim to stop any paint getting on the tyre, because it's not good for the tyre. And I put newspaper around the outside to protect the rest of the tyre, and just put tape all around it, trying to prevent any paint getting in there. And I also covered up the bearings here as well. This one is one of the rear ones which is all corroded and needs replacing. I should have probably have done that before, but it'll be alright, don't worry. So I'm going to take this tape off. It's very difficult to do with one hand. So I'm going to take all the paper off, and we'll have another look. Right, so there we go. They are all de-taped, de-papered and ready for reassembly, although the rear ones have got to do the bearings yet. But anyway, they're ready to go. Let's get on and get these exhausts sorted. Right, so the exhaust is out. I'm ready to clean this system up. What am I going to use? I'm going to use some thin-nosed mole grips to take the springs off so I can break it down and clean it up more. So I'm going to use some wet and dry 800 grit wet and dry. Going to use this dry as well. I don't think I need to use it wet. The exhaust really isn't that dirty. It's not really full of corrosion, so this stuff is going to really more so just knock a bit of the dirt off and give it more of a polish up without putting any heavy scratches on it. So that is the 800. Then I've got a choice in the garage of two different metals. Auto seal, this stuff is great, been using it for years. There's the aluminium one, which I've got. I don't think I have used a bit of that. But I've also luckily got some metal auto seal polish, which will just give it a bit of a fine finish to finish it off as such. Right, with no further ado, let's get on and get it clean. Right, so there you go, all polished up, pretty clean, quite happy with that. It's not absolutely A1, it's not gleaming. I wasn't going for that kind of effect. It would take a hell of a lot of work to get it up that clean. but it's a lot cleaner than it was and ready for fitting. So yeah, nice, nicey nice. Right, so this is my 5th take and I'm getting through this vodka. It's virtually gone. I'm actually deliberately guffing up my end closing to this video just so I can drink more vodka. Stay sober. Cheers. Don't be like Grizz. Don't drink vodka. It is vodka, it's not water. Cheers everyone. To your good health. Having a drop now. Right, thank you everyone. Hope it's not too long a vlog. I think it is because it was quite a lot. My apologies, but join me on the next one where hopefully I can get some more gee whiz, some more exciting footage for you to watch. Thank you, much love, stay safe, catch you on the next one guys, bye. God, Jesus, let's get some more water in here I guess.